Hello people, so if you got one of these Hailong style batteries with the USB charger, there's a common manufacturing error on them which makes them quite dangerous. So like, I built an electric e-bike recently, and when I posted videos of it, a lot of the guys on the forums and chat rooms said to me that these batteries were dangerous because they randomly catch on fire. So I said I'd do a video to tear it down and investigate like if it is dangerous and why that is. And so yeah, I did find quite a serious fault with the way that this battery was assembled. So I already created a video, I lost the footage, so I'm just going to strip it down and I'm going to show you exactly what that manufacturing error is. I don't recommend that you take this apart without first doing some research and understanding the dangers that are involved. So if you do so, it's at your own risk. Okay, so now that I have this apart, you can see where this manufacturing error was. Obviously I lost the original footage, so this is me having to take this apart again, and I've already made changes to rectify the issue. But you can see these puncture marks on the casing of the battery where the main power lines go in. And so this was caused by the fact that the battery itself used to be propped up from the case, and you can see that this recesses. It was propped up just by this pad here in the center, and so this USB case as well, there was no shielding on this, and there was just the sharp wires from the back of the PCB sticking out. So if you look at if you watch the rest of the video, you'll see how this blue pack with all the cells is constructed, and you'll see that there's two plastic ribs that run down the side that hold each one of the cells in place. And because the foam pad was sat in the middle, there's nothing there to support it other than the battery cells, which are sat a little bit lower. So once this goes on top of here, once this goes on top of the padding here, it was able to sag down and then start to be punctured by the sharp soldered terminals that came out the back of this PCB. The vibration would continually jog this PCB into the back of the pack, and eventually it could puncture it and cause a short, and therefore it could catch fire. So what I actually did to rectify the problem was add these two additional pads which sit underneath the plastic ribs here, so that this battery pack can't drop lower than a certain level. And then also what I did was, I'll bring this a bit closer in the light so you can see it better. Also what I did was cover the back of this in hot glue to isolate all the terminals and make a bed so it wasn't just sharp spikes sticking out. And then I covered it in some polycarbonate plastic from a car model. And so basically what that does is create a tough platform, so that there's no sharp spikes that can puncture the battery and cause it to short circuit. In any event, that's what I believe is the main cause of these batteries catching fire unexpectedly, is that the vibration from riding the bike obviously helps to slowly puncture this casing, and eventually once it punctures into the main power lines, it causes a short, and that can obviously cause the battery to catch on fire. So if you want to see a little bit more how this was constructed and the original teardown, you can keep watching the video and it might help you to understand it a little better. But it's something to be aware of if you do own one of these batteries. Right, so before I start pulling this apart, I just want to say that there's some serious health and safety risks when it comes to opening these batteries up. They are and can be explosive, and so that's also the purpose of why I am opening it up. But if you plan to do something like this, you'll have to do your own research and weigh up the risks and negotiate the risks, because they can be very dangerous if they're not handled correctly. Now, in my case, I'm opening it up on my desk, maybe not the best environment to be doing it, but I have made some arrangements, so if I do get a fire, I've cleared a pathway to safety, and I have a set of oven mitts so I can pick this up very quickly depending on how severely it goes up. If it was to pop it in the Smoky Joe, put the lid on it, and let it burn itself out. Obviously this would be a chemical fire, and so spraying water on it is not going to help things. If anything, it probably make them slightly worse. Although once it's, you know, even if I fall short of the barbecue, that's a steel construction, the balcony out there, and so I can surround the carpet on the floor, just drench it in water to contain the fire, just get it contained in a safe space where it can burn itself out is probably the best course of action. If you had a workshop, or if you've got an outdoor space to work on, you might set up where it's safe, so if it did catch fire you could just stand back without handling it at all, and let it burn out. That's my opinions. You need to do your own research and formulate your own opinions on how to deal with it, and obviously if you did anything like this it would be at your own risk anyway. So that little, oh, it's gone now. Anyway, that little rattle sounded like a loose bit of solder. Just confirms that this is in fact a cheap battery. So I'll carry on stripping it down now and see what we get inside. Eight screws holding it together. That's pretty nice. You can see that that screw had pinched through the wire there, got clamped down during assembly. That's quite a nasty way of connecting things, but I guess it does work. Might want to inspect inside there. It has actually split the plastic. I don't know if you can see that, where the crimp has split the plastic, but they are capped, so that should still never contact the other terminal. Okay, so inside this is where the battery is. I guess this is where you want to be a bit careful. I have heat shrinked everything here. I probably might have wanted to disconnect that little power gauge at the front before pulling that out, but yeah, as I thought, that rattle inside is a loose bit of solder. It's a little drop off. So I'm just going to see if I can take a little peek under this shrink wrap. So I think the batteries are stacked in lengthways like this, and so if you have a look on the end, I think this is some fireproofing material, so this is going to help contain any fire. If this did go up, it would obviously slow the rate in which it burns, give you a little bit of time to contain it. Now I'm going to have to cut this heat shrink back in order to see what's underneath here, and this is where you want to be very, very careful, because any kind of shorting, or if you puncture the outside of the battery, that can cause a fire. So I don't know what's inside here. I've got the oven mitts on standby. I will probably disconnect the lid there just to make it a little bit easier to jettison this into the barbecue if I have to. Right, let me remove this now because it's less bulky that way, and it's going to be easier to pick it up if it's just the battery and the base for it, which is still connected. I don't want to mess around and disconnect these. And again, if I disconnect anything here, it's going to cause a risk of shorting, and we don't want that. To be fair, what I haven't seen on this battery, or what I don't see on this battery, is the load balancing charger. So that's just the power check. Okay, very dangerous now. Metal scissors probably not ideal for this. You get some. It's unlikely you get electrocuted with such a low voltage, but that's not a strict rule anyway. You can get. Somebody got electrocuted to death with like a iPhone charger. So yeah. You know what? Let's take it first. Wait till the thing because this is all the way around. I got a little plastic toothpick instead, so that's much less likely to puncture the skin of the battery than those metal scissors, which are very sharp. So, it's fireproof. I'm assuming this is fireproof paper. Again, if it's it's a case of just trying to contain it, to keep yourself trying to get away from the actual fire itself. You can see I've opened the hollow side of it, so you know why I was being so careful is because if I went through here with this metal scissors and then skimmed the edge of a battery, it's the actual battery sleeving. If you go through or puncture the side of it, that can set it on fire. But yeah, no, there's quite a lot of hollow space in there, and that's because this particular cell is like the lowest amp hour and voltage really. It's only 36 amp hour, 36 volts and 10.4 amp hour I think. So obviously if you got a higher rating one, like a higher amp hour or higher voltage, then you would use more cells. So they've made one package, and then depending on the individual, like I think they're, what are they, 18650 individual cells. Depending on which ones of those on their specification, that again changes how many amp hours you get. I think the voltages are the same, but the amount of amp hours you can get of each cell changes. So you always put that together and have to get some fireproof paper, or yeah, which we heat treat this thing, and now we know if it's fire or leak inside. A bit further. Oh, and now we'll have to do anything else. I think that's cool actually. Let's do that. Let's take the heat treat first. Okay, so I decided to wear a pair of gloves for this part just in case it does go up. These are not the proper gloves for this anyway, they're very little heat resistance, but it'll give me enough time to get my fingers away without getting burnt, I think. It looks like these batteries are LG batteries in here. That's what they've used. Take a little quicker look. You just have a look at the end. You can tell by the terminal design. You see the quality of the spot welds there. Obviously, you've got to be really careful not to catch the casing of the battery there. These are the load balancing wires. And then if we just have a look at what the manufacturer markers, we'll know what type of cell is in here. So after looking up the battery model number, it says it's the LG original cell inside there. It's a 2900 milliamp hour per cell. Obviously they could be fake. I think they did advertise this one as having genuine. When I bought it, it was advertised as having genuine cells. In terms of like the spot welding quality, that's something else. I mean, the wiring doesn't look too bad on the inside, and the spot welds, you know, I'm not the expert, but they are welded in multiple positions, so I think that's a good thing. In case one point fails, you won't get any arcing if it's welded in multiple positions. In any event, I'm going to leave this one apart for now because I'm going to have to get some more heat shrink, and I'll just put another layer of fireproofing paper around the outside. Obviously, you know, that's not going to stay fireproof forever, but if a cell was to fail, it would delay it somewhat, enough time for you to get away from it safely in most cases. And then the fact that they've used these battery grids is the other thing that's going to cause these to fail. Is if they're not, these battery grids are essential really, because from what I've researched, if the battery sides are touching, obviously vibration from the bike is going to wear through that outer skin, and if you short the outside of the positive end terminal to the outside of the battery, you're going to cause a dead short inside the battery, and that's going to cause it to explode as well. And that's the same if two cells are touching each other here. If the outer metal parts of the battery touch each other, that's going to cause big problems. So looks, you know, not too bad, to be honest. If you liked this video and it was helpful to you, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe to my channel and help me try and build my channel. Cheers.